Have you always wanted to do the splits or increase your mental flexibility? Well, if so, you're in for a treat, as in today's video, I'm showing you how to do both. Hey High Vibes Nation! Welcome back to another video. I'm Mandy, life cheerleader, and I uplift others to raise their vibration. I feel happy to have you joining me for an episode on a topic that I get asked about all the time: flexibility of the body and mind. In this video, I'm sharing with y'all yoga poses you can do to work your way up to doing the full splits, as well as tips to have a more flexible mindset. With such an expansive topic, I just want to dive right in with y'all. But before I do, please make sure you like this video, subscribe to my channel, and be sure to hit that little notification bell so you'll be informed each and every time I upload new footage. And I have plenty coming up for you guys, so make sure you do. And you'll want to make sure to stay tuned till the very end of the video, where I, for the first time ever, will be revealing a flexibility hack that I've been keeping secret until now, so you won't want to miss it. Okay guys, now let's get our bodies vibing high. Okay guys, so what you'll need for today's practice. Now, just want to make a note that you don't have to have any actual items. If you don't want to use them for today's practice, it's all good. All you need is your body, but for some of you out there, I know y'all love your props. So a few that I chose to show you guys today, if you'd like, is to just have a towel. Towels always come in handy. They can come in handy just for obvious reasons of helping if you sweat, but also they can come in handy if you want to do some stretches and increase your flexibility with them. So a nice little towel always comes in handy. The next thing that you may want, especially because we're doing the splits and working our way up to doing the splits, is a yoga strap. Now, you can buy these online. I actually have links to all the products below if you guys just want to grab them. But an alternative, if you don't actually have a yoga strap, is to actually just use a belt. You can use just a waist belt that you would use at home for fashion. You can use that instead of a yoga strap. So that's another item. Another thing I always suggest, which I love using, is a 100% natural mat cleaning spray. Over time, our mats can get kind of dirty, and as I always like to say, I like to keep things on the clean and serene side. So yoga mat spray cleaner is always a good thing to have on hand. And next, but certainly not least, is yoga block. I love my yoga blocks. I think that they can really help with a lot of different postures. Certainly when doing the splits, this one can come in handy if you're not quite there in the full splits yet. So yoga block would be one that I would suggest to have on hand. And also, sometimes it can come in handy to just have a rolled up blanket like such. Another option, instead of having a yoga bolster, could be a cushy pillow. So those are just a few options if you don't want to actually get a yoga bolster or you don't have one. If you do, amazing, bring it out, use it if you want to. And then last but certainly not least, I always suggest, if you have one, it's always better to practice on a yoga mat just for the stability and grip. So those are just a few suggestions, guys. But again, if you don't have these things, it is all good, my friends. Let's get moving now. Okay guys, so just before we begin, I just want to make a friendly note to not compare yourself to me or anyone if you happen to be practicing with anyone today, or your mind starts to wander about where you're at. Just honor where you're at in your body. This practice is so beautiful, it's so individualized, and just work on being better than your yesterday self. That's all you want to focus on. So without further ado, let's get stretching. So with each of the postures that I chose today, it's basically going to be progressive into the end posture, which is the full splits. We're gonna hold these for about 20 seconds. If you guys are wanting more deep and delicious stretches, I do have other videos I'll put the links to below this one, because I've gotten into some deep ones and delicious stretches in my other videos. And so if you guys are looking to hold some of these for a bit longer, again, this is totally your practice. Use it to your advantage and hold them a bit longer. For now, we're gonna go with the flow of them. So I'm only gonna hold them again for about 20 seconds. So let's do this. All right, guys, posture number 1 is the halfway lift. And we're gonna do a progressive transition from making it a little bit easier and then taking it to a next level. So let's do it together. So you just wanna get onto your mat, like so. Just have your feet about hip distance apart. You can give your legs a little shake. When you're ready, all you're gonna do, breathe in, bring your arms up to the sky. Very nice. And when you breathe out, you're just gonna come down, bend over, and come to about your shins. The main things that you wanna take into consideration here, you wanna tuck in your tummy, you wanna make sure you have a little micro bend in the backs of your knees, and you also want to make sure that you have a nice elongated spine so that you're not doing any disservice, because we wanna honor our bodies to the spine. So from here, this is going to be the easier version. You're just gonna have your hands on your shins, and if you feel ready and you feel that you can, you're just gonna bring your hands down to your mat. Again, make sure you put a little micro bend in the backs of your knees, and then you're just going to feel a nice, delicious stretch in the backs of your legs. Let's hold this here, guys. If you want to take it just a little further, you can put your hands on your mat. Definitely feel that. All right, let's take one more deep breath in. Put your hands on your hips. Hinge at your hips and come up. And that is a halfway lift. All right, guys, for our next stretch, we're gonna progressively increase our flexibility. So we are going to do a forward fold together. So again, let's get onto our mats like we were in our last pose. So you just want to have your feet about hip distance apart. We're basically going to take what we did last time and just move on literally from that. So we're going to breathe in deeply and hinge at your hips. Come down. Come into your forward posture that you were in last time. And then from here, we're just going to continue inching down. Nice, guys. Grab the backs of your ankles and come fully forward into a forward fold. One more breath. And release. Breathe it out. Breathe in. Come halfway up. And breathe out. Amazing job, guys. All right, guys, our next posture is a low lunge. And for this one, again, I'm going to start with one variation and then I'm going to increase the difficulty of it. So whatever feels right to you, just do that one. So let's get back onto our mats. All right, guys, from here, you just want to have your feet about hip distance apart and you're going to tuck in your tummy. Just take a nice deep inhale. Beautiful, bring it down. Great, another inhale. Take your right leg and all you're gonna do is you're going to step it out wide, like so. You're going to pivot your back foot up, off. Just lift it off. Make sure you're pivoting it just so it's straight and it's not on an angle. From here, you're basically going to adjust your legs into a nice, deep, wide stance, and you're just going to bend into a low lunge. From here, drop your knee. Beautiful, guys. If you want to stay here, and this is a really, really beautiful stretch already for the legs. If you can, just bring that top leg up. Beautiful. And I'm gonna put my arms up for this. Make sure that you're micro bending in your knees to honor your body. This is a really beautiful, strong posture. Keep breathing. The main thing here as well is you want to make sure that your knee is directly over your ankle. Let's take one more inhale. Beautiful, drop your back knee. And let's bring our front leg back. All right, guys, amazing. Now we're gonna move on to do the low lunge on our left leg. So breathe in nicely. Beautiful, and you're going to take a wide stance with this leg now out until you come into a stable position. Make sure you've pivoted, lifted this back foot off your mat, and breathe in and drop it down. Now bring your knee down to your mat. If you want to stay here, you are more than welcome to. If you want to increase the challenge of the stretch, you can bring that knee off your mat and bring your arms up to the sky for a nice low lunge. Make sure your knee is directly above that front ankle. All right, guys. One more breath in and drop it down. Woo! I could definitely feel that in the left side low lunge. All right, guys, we're positively moving things forward, no pun intended. The next stretch we're gonna do is actually the half splits. So for this one, again, you just wanna come onto your mat. We're basically gonna progress from our last posture. So you want to have your feet about hip distance apart again. Now for this one, what makes the most sense is we're actually going to come down onto our knees. Wonderful. You're going to take your right leg and you're going to just bring it out in front of you like so. Wonderful. If you're here, great. Bring it forward and you just want to lift and make sure that your body is in full alignment, standing up nice and tall here, and you're gonna bring this front foot up off of your mat, and from here, all you're gonna do is start to increasingly bend forward while you're exhaling. If this is good, stay here. I'm gonna keep going. Go, go, go. And if you can bring your arms down to your mat. And if you fully want to bring your head down like so, you may go ahead. You're going to feel a really intense deep stretch in the back of your leg. That's very normal for this one. Just keep breathing, keep stretching, feeling that deep and delicious stretch in your body. You're doing great. One more breath together. Breathe out, bring it up. All right, wonderful, guys. Now we're gonna do the other side. So let's take a nice inhale and exhale. Inhale, let's come and bring our left leg out. Now from here again, you're just going to bring your left foot off your mat and then breathe in and start to inch forward. If you're here, beautiful, stay here. This is your home base today, all good. If you want, you can increasingly bring yourself towards that front leg until you're down. And let's breathe this out together. You can hold on to that front foot if you prefer for an extra nice little juicy stretch. All right, one more breath. Slowly, bring that leg back. Ooh, guys, what a delicious stretch. There you have your half splits. All right, guys, this next stretch is one that I really love. It's a pretty intense stretch for your hips, but I feel like so many of us carry so much stagnant energy, and we can also be so tight in our hips. So this is a really beautiful way to open them up. So let's do it. This one is a lizard pose. So for this one, again, it's basically a progression from our last stretch. So you want to just have your feet about hip distance apart. Breathe in deeply. Beautiful. Let's take our front leg here, right leg, and we're going to do our wide stance again. So breathe in. Make sure you're always active with every part of your body. Step it out wide. Now from here, we're going to do the same thing we did with our lunge. Make sure that back foot is off your mat. Make sure you're really squeezing your abs, your glutes, all your muscles, so you're really getting a beautiful, deep stretch and workout in your body. You're gonna come in to that low lunge. Now, here is the difference. Instead of coming into arms like so, we're gonna drop our leg for this first variation. What you're actually going to do with your arms is you're going to come on the inside of that leg and come down like so. And I believe you guys can see on camera, basically my forearms are touching the mat completely while this front foot is staying flat on my mat. My knee is bent. As you can see, the knee is over the ankle. And if this is as far as you guys can go, amazing, stay here. Now I'm gonna take it into its entirety and lift that back leg up. So basically, you end up with a posture that looks like this. Again, this is a very intensive stretch, but we are planning to go into the splits by the end of this flow. So we want to make sure we're really lubricating our muscles and joints in order to do so. So as you can see, my back leg is off of the mat now. There's no contact with my knee or anything. Let's just do a few breaths here because I know this one is pretty intense for y'all. All right, guys, drop that back knee. Bring it up. Woo! There you go. On one side, let's do the other. So from here, we're not even gonna get up. We can just stay on our knees. It's a little bit easier. Breathe in nicely together. Beautiful, guys. Now we're going to do the opposite side so we equalize our bodies. So you're gonna bring your left leg out now in front of you. You're just going to bend that right ankle now. So you see here, this foot. So you're gonna have some leverage. You're going to bring your forearms on the inside of that front leg down. So you can stay here. If this is where you're at right now, stay here. Amazing. If you want to make it a little bit more challenging, bring that back leg up and then shift yourself so you're in your posture. Amazing. And let's do a few breaths together here. One more. And drop that back knee down on your mat. Come back slowly into a more neutral position. Amazing. So there you have it, guys. That is the lizard pose. All right, next on our list is one that some of you may have actually done before. This one is the quad stretch, and as the name would have it, it's a great one to stretch your quads. So let's do it together. So all you want to do is come onto your mat. You want to just start on your knees. We're going to start and we're going to do both sides so we have a beautiful stretch on the right and left sides of our bodies. You just want to have a firm stance on your knees, equal weight on both. You're just going to bring this right leg in front of you like this so your knee is directly, I'm going to bring it out a little bit. You want to have your knee directly over your ankle so it is at a 90-degree angle. And this one is pretty intense for the legs, so just honor where you're at in your practice. What you're going to do is reach back, use your front knee if you'd like as stability. You're just going to reach back and you're going to bring this back leg up as far as you can. You're going to feel an insane stretch in your quads. Now this one, if you do happen to have your yoga strap or a belt, that can really come in handy for this one. We're just gonna hold this here for a few breaths. Woo! I can certainly feel it in my quads. All right, one more deep breath in. Beautiful, let's drop it down. Oh goodness gracious, guys, that is a nice little stretch. All right, we're gonna do it to the other side. So we're gonna start on our knees again. Let's just bring that other leg out in front of us. I like to put mine a little bit ahead of my normal stance. Again, let's honor our knee being over our ankle to avoid injury. Nice flat foot, and with this arm, I'm going to reach back, grab this foot and ankle, and bring it slowly. Beautiful, guys. Bring it up as far as you can go. Amazing. Just feel that nice deep stretch in your quad. And let's breathe in and breathe out naturally. One more. Beautiful. Let's slowly come back. Drop it down. Whew! I just had a nice little crack in my knee too. All right, guys, there you have it. There is a beautiful quad stretch. All right, guys, next we're gonna be doing a posture that is one of my absolute favorite standing poses in all of yoga. It is triangle pose. So let's do it together now. So for this one, we are gonna be starting by standing. Now all you wanna do for this one, take a nice deep inhale. Beautiful, guys. And you're going to take that right leg of yours and you're basically just going to come into a warrior two, which looks like such. You wanna have your back foot down and pivoted so it's parallel with the edge of the back of your mat. Front foot is going to come directly in between your back foot. You're going to bend into this posture. Now from here, again, alignment. You want to make sure that front knee is directly above your front ankle. Now you're going to slowly start to bring your arms up ahead like you would in a warrior two. And start to straighten that front knee while honoring it with a tiny micro bend. And you're going to hinge at the hips now. Pivot your hips so they come back. And you're going to reach forward until you come into a pretty triangle pose. Now, here you could use a yoga block if you'd prefer. I'm just gonna put my hand down on my mat. Just want to have a really beautiful alignment. All the lines are looking so pretty in your body. And have your natural tilt to your head so you're not straining your neck. One more breath together. Beautiful. Let's breathe in. Breathe out, bring it up. Woo! I definitely felt that crack. And let's come back, step it up. And we're gonna do it on the other side now, guys. Amazing. Oh, I love this stretch so much. Okay, feet hip distance apart. Take a nice deep inhale. Beautiful. And now we're gonna bring our left leg forward into a wide stance. Let's do the same thing. Pivot your back foot and make sure your front foot is directly in between the back foot. And we're going to basically bend as if we were doing warrior two. Beautiful. Arms nicely out like such. Make sure you're nicely bent into that front knee. From here, we're going to look over our front arm. Start to bring that front leg straight. Nice. Ooh, felt another little crack there. Now you're going to see how we kind of have this hinge in our hips. So basically what we want to do is make sure you're hinging back and you're going to basically start to inch until you can come down. Just move my hair so you guys can see. And basically come up. You can look up at your top arm. Oh goodness, guys, this one's so pretty. And it's such a beautiful stretch for your entire body. Keep breathing, feeling all the beautiful energy coming into your body in this stretch. All right, we're gonna do one more breath together. And breathe out slowly, bring it up. And there you guys have it. There is your triangle. Okay guys, it sounds like we're having fun with shapes today with all of these shape names. The next pose that I'm going to be showing y'all is the pyramid pose. And this one is a really nice, deep and delicious stretch. as they all are, so let's do it together. So for this one, it is going to be another standing pose. Just want to come onto your mat about feet hip distance apart. Now for this one, again, we're just going to start by bringing our right leg out like such. Now with this one, with this back leg, you're just going to pivot it so that it's on a nice little angle about 45 degrees for more stability. This front leg, you want to, in this one especially, in all the postures you always do, but especially in this one, you want to make sure you have micro bends in your knees so you don't do any disservice to your legs. And from here, there's a few different variations, but basically what we're going to do, if you'd like to, you can bring your arms into prayer posture. I really like this variation, but for today, let's just keep it neutral if you prefer. You're gonna breathe in and basically start to inch over that front leg like such. Beautiful, until you come down to your mat. And there you go. Now you see why it's called a pyramid. Haha. Oh goodness, guys. I'm in a silly mood today, just so y'all know. So from here, just keep breathing in to that pyramid stretch. Beautiful. You just want to feel really relaxed, really comfortable. Make sure that your back foot is on your mat, that you're not lifting it up. Beautiful. Let's take one more inhale together. And let's release it. Maybe just give your leg a little shake there. Beautiful. Okay guys, we're gonna do the other side to even it out now. Okay, so from here, again, we're just gonna step our left leg out in front of us. Pivot that back foot so it's a little bit on about a 45 angle degree. Make sure everything is nice and tight. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Your glutes, your abs, everything is nice and tight. Put a micro bend in both knees. Honor your body, and let's start to inch forward. Beautiful, guys. Let's just keep inching until we're down to our leg, or as far as you want to take it. Amazing. And let's drop it here. Let's do a couple of breaths together. Beautiful. One more. You're doing amazing. All right. Exhale. Let's bring it up. Yay. All right, guys. That is a pyramid pose. All right, guys, this next one's actually gonna bring us down to our mats on our backs. This one is the reclined big toe pose. I know it's a bit of a mouthful, but let's do it together here. And I also, for this one, do have my yoga strap. So I'm gonna show you how we're gonna use this to our advantage. So you just wanna come down onto the mat, onto your back, just lie flat. Beautiful, guys. So from here, we're going to take our right leg up to the sky. You can point your toe to the sky. If you have a yoga strap, beautiful. If you have a belt, beautiful. Whatever you feel that you want to use today. I'm going to show you a variation to begin with, and then we're going to show you the full version. So you just want to have your yoga strap at the bottom of your foot. If you're here, amazing. Just stay here if this is as far as you can bring your leg up. And with every inhale and exhale, you're just gonna try and inch your leg closer and closer and closer and closer to your head that's on the floor. Now, again, honor where you're at. I'm going to not use the yoga strap, and rather instead, I'm going to bring my leg all the way down to my forehead. The main thing that you want to make sure of in this posture is that at all times, your hips on both sides are still touching the mat. You don't want to be having to lift in any way because then you're not honoring your body. So let's do it together. Come into whatever feels the most. I'm going to come to the side here. Beautiful, guys. Wherever you are now, let's hold this for a few breaths. Okay, let's exhale. Bring your leg back up to neutral sky position wherever you were and drop it down. Just give our legs a nice little shake here. Amazing, guys. Okay, so next we're gonna do our opposite leg to even it out. Start with the strap variation. So if you'd like to, you can just wrap that around your foot like so. Again, if you have a nice long belt, amazing. Or even if you want to use your towel, either way works. From here, let's take a nice deep inhale and slowly start to bring your leg towards your forehead as far as you're gonna go. If it's here, beautiful. Feel that nice, juicy stretch and allow it to continue with each inhale and exhale. Again, if you're here, great. I'm gonna ditch the strap right now and just use my hands and continue to bring it down past my forehead until I have reached the ground. One more inhale. And on that exhale, let's slowly bring it back and bring it all the way down. Wonderful, guys. Let's shake it out. I know that one's really, really intense. All right, guys, these are all considered quite deep stretches and pretty advanced. So consider yourselves champions for making it this far. Yay. All right, and for our last pose, we're going to do the forward splits. So let's do it together. All right, so for this one, basically, we're going to start with one of the postures that we had already done, which is the half splits, and we're gonna take it into its entirety. So for this one, basically, you can just come into as you were before. So here, make sure you're doing the micro bend in your knee, your front leg. And if you wanna come like we were before, over your front leg, great. You're going to just basically, and this is where you really need to honor where you're at, you're going to continue making your way down as far as you can until, we made it, we made it. Now here you want to make sure that your hips are square so that you're honoring your posture. And there you have it, folks. This is what you're working towards with all of these stretches. So I'm actually going to bring myself, and you can stay here if you want. You can bring your arms up to the sky. That's always a nice variation. If you want, you can even bring it forward like so. Rest your head on your front leg. There's so many variations you can take with the splits. I think for today, let's just take a nice stance. You can even have your hands in prayer, but I like up to the sky, so let's hold this here. Beautiful. Let's take one more inhale. So good. To come out, you just want to be very gentle. start to lift yourself up off your mat. Bring that front leg forward and da-da-da-da. There you go, guys. Amazing. Now let's do it on the other side so that our body is even. So again, let's just bring the opposite leg out. Gonna bend over that nicely, nicely, slowly. You're going to start to inch your way down like you would, keeping your hips square. And from here, beautiful. There you have it, guys. Amazing. Let's bring our hands into whatever position you're feeling today. I'm gonna say up to the sky. Beautiful, guys. Square hips, remember, and sink into the posture. One more inhale. And let's drop it down with the arms. Exhale. Bring it back slowly. Whew. Let's give our bodies a nice little shake there. And there you have it, the full splits. I am so proud of you guys. All right, guys, you did amazing in the last segment with the how to do your splits, flexibility of the body. Now let's move it along to flexibility of the mind tips. So when people say to me all the time, Mandy, you're so flexible, I always respond in the same way. It honestly all stems from the flexibility in my mind. I've realized over time that the more open-minded I've become, the more my body's opened up as well. And other areas of my life have positively and profoundly been affected by opening up my mind and letting go of my limiting beliefs. Being flexible in your mind really just means being free in life. You no longer are chained to the inability or the resistance to change. And let me tell you, from someone who happens to be a creature of habit and familiarity, I know this subject very well. So let's dive into strategies you can use to have a more flexible mind. All right, coming in at number 1, very powerful, but in no particular order, is accepting change. Now, what do I mean by accepting change? Well, let's be real. The only constant in life is change. And my father actually said this to me years ago when I was younger, and it really just stuck in my head because as someone who definitely, as mentioned, loves, routines and familiarity and comfort, I've come to realize that you really can never rely on things staying the same. But here's the beautiful thing about change. I don't really believe that anything truly ends in life. I think it just changes form. And so whenever things come up in my life where I have to make a decision or something happens unexpectedly, I've become so much more comfortable with knowing that that's just kind of the natural flow of how life works. When we get so stuck and stagnant in our feelings towards things and we don't allow ourselves to really just be more comfortable with things changing form, it ends up creating a lot of disappointment in our lives. So in order to just kind of let that negativity go, I've really not only let go of when things change feeling badly about it, I actually have learned in many areas of my life to now celebrate it as an opportunity for me to expand my comfort zone. And again, as the old adage always goes, you don't grow in your comfort zone. You can't progress. If you're staying the same, which is resistant to change, you can't move forward. You can't keep pushing ahead moving up if you're here, guys. So the moment that you actually learn to embrace and celebrate change, you are gonna feel so much happier. All right, moving positively along, tip number 2. All right, tip number 2 is to focus on the bright side. Now, y'all know that I am a huge fan of optimism, but I will make a little note here for you guys. I want to just share that this year especially, I've changed my perspective on what it means to even be an optimist, because I feel like for so long I've resonated with, seeing the bright side of things and always looking up. But I will say there is such a thing as being overly or too optimistic. And so because of certain things I've gone through, obviously, I've realized that it's really important to always be hopeful, but at the same time, you have to have this level of realism. So I've changed the title optimist to now being a practical optimist in my life. And it really marries beautifully with this tip for y'all, because I think it's really important when things happen to us unexpectedly. A lot of times we'll go into kind of that fight or flight mode, and we're like, oh my gosh, I totally didn't expect this to happen. Oh my goodness, like what am I gonna do? How am I gonna get through this? And you kind of go into that panic mode. So I like to actually think of it, again, kind of going back to tip number 1, but making it even more advanced in your stages of opening your mind and having a more flexible mindset, is to be able to see the bright side in situations that happen in your life. So let's just throw out an example. For example, say you had plans with somebody and all of a sudden they cancel the plan. Well, you could look at it like, oh, I'm so disappointed. I'm so upset. I was so looking forward to that. And in all fairness, let those feelings flow. But you can also say to yourself, you know what? It must have happened because it wasn't meant for me to see that person right now. Or, maybe something else. And this has actually happened to me a lot in my life. When I've saw the goodness, when I focused on the bright side of situations that happen unexpectedly, there's always that silver lining, right? And what we focus on is what grows. So when things haven't happened in the way that I've had the expectation of them happening, better things have actually ended up happening. And I truly believe it's because I've just allowed myself to go with the flow. I haven't forced myself into having to make something happen. I really have embraced that things don't always go the way we plan, but things always happen for a reason and the way that they are meant for us to happen. So by virtue of us focusing on the fact that something happens for us, which in this case would be a change in plans, it actually allows us to have something even better happen for us in the end. All right, I know this is something that a lot of y'all struggle with, including myself, which is the fear of the unknown, which tends to be one of the reasons why we fear change so much. So tip number 3 for y'all is to actually take your mind. It's kind of the opposite of tip number 2, but take your mind to the worst case scenario. The reason why this is such an amazing tip and tactic, basically, to deal with opening your mindset and becoming more flexible is because when you eliminate not knowing something, you basically squash the fear out of it firsthand. No pun intended. Like, whoosh. It's like giving the fear a little punch, right? And the reason why I love this exercise, I actually, it's kind of a play on one that I read in the 4-Hour Workweek, written by Tim Ferriss. I'll put a link to that book below, because it is one book that I think everyone should read at some point in their life. It's an amazing read. But he basically suggests taking your mind to the worst case scenario. And I've done this a lot in my life where something comes up and I also like to see the good in everything, but I really ask myself, like, what's the worst that can absolutely happen if I take this leap of faith, if I take a risk, if I, fill in the blank for yourself out there. And as soon as I actually make peace with whatever might be the actual worst case scenario, it basically just squashes all sort of fears I have in doing that action in the first place. So let's just take something for example. I know one that a lot of us have come across in our lives is, let's say we want to ask someone out. Woo! I know I'm being silly with y'all. I told you this is a sillier episode. I'm in a little bit of a playful mood today. But let's just roll with that one. Say you want to ask someone out. Well, you have to ask yourself, what is the worst case that could happen? What's the worst case scenario? They say no. Oh my goodness. Guess what? You are not only going to still live, chances are, if they're not into you, well, then you can move on, and at least you're not in gray zone anymore. You have your answer. They're not really that into you, so you can move on and focus your attention on somebody that is more aligned with you. Great. You know what I mean? Like, it's one of these things in life. I know that's a really simple example. There's far, more complex situations that we come into that we can kind of have the pros and cons weighed out. But it's a really simple way to just see that if you eliminate that fear that you have around, like, okay, if they don't like you back, okay, this isn't grade school. Like, you can move on to someone else. They're being honest with you. Cool. That's the worst case. And rejection at this point in my life, I don't know about y'all, but don't really care that much. I have made peace with things happening where maybe I don't get the expectation I am hoping for, but then I can move on and be free. And it just, every time, and this is the great thing, every time you use that fearless muscle, it grows. So maybe the first time you ask somebody out, you're really shy, you're scared, you're like, oh my goodness, what's gonna happen? Are they gonna say yes? Are they gonna say no? If they say no, guess what? You'll probably feel more fearless next time you try it. So that is tip number 3 for y'all. All right, tip number 4 for you guys is to explore the details. And what I mean by explore the details is basically when it comes to opening your mind up and becoming more flexible, again, a lot of it has to do, or the lack of being flexible with your mind is this unknown variables, unknown information, unknown details. So I like to get really down into the nitty-gritty of what is at hand, because when you do so, you become far more comfortable with just knowing what's really going on. So one of the biggest tips I can give for you guys surrounding this, making peace with everything that's at play and exploring details is really just being radically honest with yourself. Maybe that means, thinking about taking it down from surface level around a situation or a question you have or something that's come up in life, and really just being radically honest and seeing it for what it is, not falling in love with some fantasy around it, not creating, these what ifs. One of the best quotes that my mom actually bestowed upon me years ago, which I always have replaying in my head, is, it's not about what if, it's about what is. And I know, again, super simple, but if you actually think about it, it's brilliant, because you're not going to start fishing for all these variables that don't exist. Play with what's actually at hand. Use the cards at hand. And when you start to think about the details of whatever situation you're going through, you start to kind of put the puzzle pieces together to really overlook it from that bird's eye view of what's really going on, and you eradicate again this unknown, which is usually what makes us reluctant to change. So that would be tip number 4 for you guys. All right, my last and final tip in terms of strategies to expand your mindset is to be lighthearted and silly. And yes, it is going in tune with my playfulness today, but I think it's really important when you're dealing with things that come up in life to really just have a lightheartedness about it. And it kind of goes along with going with the flow. But really what I mean by this one is, and this honestly, this playfulness, this silliness, having fun with things that come up, it really can help you in all areas of your life, not just having a more open mind. So let's give context to this tip. So for example, say you were betting, no pun intended, but betting on something to happen. You had this expectation, something was going to go a certain way in your life, and then let's just put it out there. Maybe it was an opportunity. You were so dead set and so excited, so looking forward to some sort of opportunity coming through in your life, and you didn't get it. Well, a great way to look at it, again, is obviously there's something better out there for you, but you can kind of make it into a joke with yourself, like just think about it in a funny way. Like, say your friend, maybe you had told some people about you maybe getting this opportunity and it didn't come through. Well, you can kind of just make fun of yourself about it. Like, talk to your friend in a way as though, and you can just do this to yourself. It doesn't even have to be to somebody else. But you can go like, I didn't get it because blank, and make it into a joke. Like, it doesn't always have to be so serious. You don't have to mope around about things. If you can have a lightheartedness, this little bit of silly fun and make fun of yourself about things that happen in life, I guarantee you guys, you're gonna feel a little bit lighter and brighter about it. And you also won't be so disappointed. And it's not to say like you're totally valid in feeling let down if you're really looking forward to something. But my whole point here is that, allow yourself to let those feelings out, that disappointment, that frustration, that sadness, but then you can turn it into something brighter and lighter so you're not holding on to any stagnant, heavy energy. And this in itself, if you can have fun with things in life, that will naturally just allow yourself to open your mind more, because you're not going to be so stuck and feeling like every time something happens, it's the end of the world and it's so dramatic. Like, let's just be honest. We want a no drama zone here, please. No drama. I won't even say save it for your mama. I don't think she wants that either. So let's just keep it light and bright. And that would be tip number 5. All right, guys, so you might be asking yourself at this point, like, this is great, Mandy, but why is this so important? Like, why is it so important to get unstuck, to have an open mindset? And really, getting stuck just means you being more argumentative, you worrying, you automatically saying no to things in your life, getting upset when something doesn't go your way. And again, I'm all for the snowball effect of either positivity or negativity. So when we can be more open-minded, you're inviting more goodness and more positivity into your life. So you might also not realize it, but when you get stuck and when you're closed-minded, you are actually sending signals to your brain about all sorts of warning bell signs. And this is bad for our health. This is bad for your mental health. And I really truly believe that all disease in our body starts and stems from stress. It basically is a dis-ease of something going on within us, and I believe it starts in the mind. So none of us out there, I know none of y'all want to be dealing with mental stress, let alone having all these physical ailments happen to us, especially because when we have extra stress on our bodies, whether it's physically, mentally, emotionally, or any other way, we put so much stress on our bodies that our immune system breaks down. And that's when we're more susceptible to getting sick. I know I've talked about this with you guys before, especially now with everything that's going on in our world. We want to make sure that our immune system is in tip-top shape, as well as having our physical bodies being in shape. We want to have our mental game on point. So that is why it is so important to have a more open and more flexible mindset. Now, I know if some of y'all out there are sitting there going, well, that's great, Mandy. I love all your tips, and I'm so wanting to really expand my mind and not feel so stuck, but you just don't know how to go about that. Don't worry, because I got you. The following are a few exercises that you can do to train your brain to be more flexible. All right, guys. Exercise number 1 is to write it down. This is something that I have used often in my life when especially decisions have come up, but as someone who definitely can have a very active mind, I sometimes find it really helpful and beneficial to write all my thoughts down. These can include everything from pros and cons to my biggest fears to going back to some of the tips I mentioned, like worst case scenario, anything that essentially is keeping me stuck in that mindset of like my mind like racing around and around some sort of situation or decision. I like to write it down. And as someone who basically I love structure and organization and clarity and being able to see something in front of me rather than having everything kind of jumbled in my mind, it allows me to have a piece of paper where I can then look at my notes in an organized fashion. I can compartmentalize my thoughts and ideas and even have like a list of pros and cons. And for someone whose brain operates in the way that I do, and I feel like a lot of y'all watching out there do as well, it can really help me to clarify my thoughts and then allow me to make better decisions when I actually have it in front of me versus all running around up here. So again, writing things down can be a really beautiful way to help you guys get unstuck. All right, exercise number 2 to help y'all have a more flexible mindset is to make go with the flow your new mantra. So in life, when we allow things to naturally and organically happen, we are much happier beings. I have, in my, I want to say past life, but really in full disclosure with you guys, when I was younger, I would oftentimes try to force things to happen in my favor, and not necessarily with anybody else, but just there would be times when I would want something really badly, like something to happen so badly in my life, and I'm all for being persistent. I am a very persistent, politely persistent person in my life. But there's such a thing as trying to force it versus just being patiently and politely persistent. I'm all for going towards your goals. You guys have, I know if you're watching, you have big aspirations for yourself, and I think it's really important to never lose sight of those big goals and to keep going and striving towards them. But there's a huge difference between trying to achieve a goal and forcing an outcome. And by virtue of you constantly trying to make something happen in an unnatural way, you end up typically just feeling exhausted in the end. At least I know I did or have whenever I would try to, make something happen and not just let it flow the way it naturally was supposed to occur or not even happen in the first place. I always just ended up feeling so tired in the end because it just went against the natural, way that it should have gone. So the main takeaway from this exercise is just to practice flow more so in your life. Talking to my stubborn and control freak friends out there. I love y'all because I totally resonate. But honestly, guys, life will be so much better if you do. Ooh, tip number 3. This one's a fun one, guys. I mean, they're all fun, but this one I really like in terms of a tip and exercise that can help you to expand your mindset is to do something every single day that scares you and or takes you out of your comfort zone. This one has changed my life. Literally. Every single day, I really do try to make an effort to take myself out of my comfort zone. And it could be something as simple or as small as, and I know we're in social distancing, so this one, I'm going to give you the scenario if we weren't, and then if now that we are. So normally I love to, of course, strike up conversations with strangers because I am a pretty friendly person, and just make, even if it's just a friendly gesture to someone who I don't know, maybe it's going outside and seeing a stranger, seeing someone I've never met, and just smiling and like waving hello or whatever the case may be, even saying hi sometimes, even if it's someone at the store. That's something you guys can do right now. But since we're in social distancing, I'll dumb it down a little bit in case y'all are staying home entirely. Strike up a conversation with someone online, strike someone who maybe you've never spoken to, or maybe sign up for that course or that thing that you've been putting off. Because here's the thing, your fearless muscle, and I keep going back to being fearless because the more you flex your quote unquote fearless muscle, the more it's going to grow. So it goes in line and it correlates to having a more open mind, because a lot of times the main reason we have such a closed mind is because we're living from a fear base rather than an expansive love base type energy. So do something today. I'm giving you guys this homework right now. Do something, even if it's little. Maybe it's trying a new food you've never tried. I don't know, guys. I'm just throwing things out here. But find something small to start with, and do something that takes you out of your normal comfort zone / safety net. And that is a way that you can expand your mindset. All right. If you guys have not guessed by that somewhat lame intro to this exercise, tip number 4 is to meditate. Now, y'all know how I feel about medication for the soul, but the reason why I bring up meditation again to have a more flexible mindset is because essentially when you make peace with what you don't have control over, which again is partly why a lot of us close up around having a more expansive mindset, you really are able to move past and through some of your limiting beliefs. The other beautiful thing about meditation is it brings us into a more peaceful state of mind. And when we're operating from a more relaxed, peaceful state, we really can just be honest with ourselves more easily. We can make peace with whatever we're struggling with inside. And one of my favorite sayings, and something that I live by, is the quote, "Let go and let God." And again, y'all know how much I really am a believer, and I have such faith in higher power for myself, which is God. And for all of you watching, I get the sense that you also have a strong faith towards, something greater, something more bigger than all of us. And so whatever that godly energy is to you, just give it up to that energy. Make peace with what you can control, let go of what you can't, and let God work his magic in your life through meditation. All right, tip number 5. Tip number 5, and I'm talking to y'all from a personal heart space here. Switch up your routine on purpose. I know. For people who are routine lovers like myself, I know y'all are out there watching. Literally, the thought of switching up your daily routine probably is making you cringe right now. And I get it, because I still sometimes find myself going like, ugh, I do not want to change up my daily routine. But I promise you guys out there, especially the ones who do not like switching things up every day, it can help you exponentially to expand your mindset. And guys, I always recommend, if any of these tips you're really feeling resistance, the quote that really resonates, "What you resist persists." Start small. Even if it means maybe switching up the different things that you do in your schedule around. Maybe it means, taking something out. Maybe it means doing something a little bit longer and shortening another part of your schedule. But when you are able to switch up your daily routine, you basically become more comfortable when things oftentimes, which do in life, happen where our routine, let's have a perfect example right now. A lot of us are not living in our normal routine because of social distancing, because we have to stay home now. Things have just gotten like out the window with what is normal for most of us. So this stuff is always going to happen though. It's like, it doesn't take a pandemic. Sometimes the littlest thing can set us off and our whole routine feels like it is completely gone to where. So that's why it's so important. Like, do it on purpose though. Don't wait until things hit the bleep. Switch it up today. Just even the littlest action can really make the biggest difference in having a completely different mindset. So guys, I am challenging you to try switching up your daily routine, even if it's just the littlest way today. All right, guys, and now for the bonus. My bonus tip for you guys that has been a game changer in allowing me to have a more flexible mindset. It's kind of an A and B step scenario. So the tip for y'all is to basically take action. And how does this help with having an expansive mindset? Well, I'm going to tell you. By taking action, you eliminate anxiety. I'm going to say that one again because this has been a game changer the first time I heard it. Action eliminates anxiety. So a lot of times, and why does this even matter? Why does anxiety and taking action help with an expansive mindset? Because every time you take strategic action and steps towards something you want in your life, you basically diminish and squash that little voice inside of your head that goes, I can't do it. It's not going to work out. I feel like there's so many obstacles against me. A lot of those voices that we, hear inside our mind that are basically limiting beliefs or that stop us from doing the things that we really want to do in our lives stem from fear. And you've heard me say this a few times already in this episode, but one of the main reasons why we cringe and we, recluse and we close up around having a more expansive mindset, which usually has to do with change in our lives, is because we're just living from a place of fear. It's that whole fight or flight. We're really just going back to our past patterns, to our limiting beliefs that we've had maybe for life sometimes. So my biggest tip for y'all on having a more expansive mindset, and this even relates to the yoga that I showed you guys earlier, do something that scares you by taking action. And I don't just mean taking action to take action. I mean, do your research, think about it strategically, take a lot of the tips that I used today, write down maybe a strategy plan, maybe write down actionable steps that you can take in order to work your way through that inner fear, but also work your way towards what it is that you want to achieve and just eliminate that fear. Fear is not your friend. Fear, yes, in certain scenarios in life, I'd say there are times when, not being silly about putting yourself at risk is, yes, of course, that's the one exception to the rule. But oftentimes we kind of just make the fears up in our mind. And when we can eliminate that fear that exists in here, yes, I did a little rhyme there for you guys. We can eliminate the fear that exists in here. We can then be open-minded to so much more goodness in our lives. And here's the other thing, guys. When you become more comfortable to change brought on by choice, then you actually become more resilient to change brought on by force. I've adopted and implemented this strategy into my life, and I am so happy that I have, because now when things come up in my life that were not planned and I have zero control over them, I feel less stressed about the change that's happening around me. And let's be real, the only constant in life is change, so you might as well make friends with it. By doing so, even just a little bit, guys, y'all will feel happier and stay healthy during highly transient times. When you allow yourself to be more open in mind, body, and spirit, you'll be open to a whole world of possibilities that you wouldn't even know had existed. And when you free your mind of that which no longer serves you, you'll be open to an abundance of opportunities that could be waiting for you. So I want to know, what do y'all plan to do after watching today's video in terms of being more flexible in your body or mind? Comment below and let me and the High Vibes Nation hashtag know so that we can all help each other expand in our mindsets. Y'all know that I want all of us to rise higher together, and by virtue of opening up your mind, body, and spirit in a more flexible way, we can raise the energy so high, which is the best. All right, guys, I feel so happy that we've shared this time getting more flexible together. If any of you are feeling really stuck in your life right now and you are interested in working with me as a coach and or want to sign up for any of my programs, I'm going to drop the links below so you guys can do that. And I would feel so happy to help you work through whatever it is that is either making you feel like you can't move past things in your mind or your life, because I love to do that with y'all. Also, if you guys would love to support this High Vibes mission I'm on, as well as this video that you're watching right now, I'm going to put the link to my Patreon page. And on that page, you will find things like private yoga teaching, private meditation sessions, private coaching, and lots of other rewards, including even a live group chat. And so if y'all feel it in your hearts and that feels aligned for you, if you want to support me in this way by making donations to help me, produce these amazing episodes for y'all, I will put that below as well. And to all of the patrons out there who have already signed up and who are supporting me in this way, thank you all so much. It really does mean the world to me. I love hearing from y'all on social media. I know last week someone sent me a really cool video of them watching one of the episodes, and it looked awesome, and I'm so grateful. You know who you are out there who sent me that cool video. And I actually put it on my stories. And so if y'all want to send me pictures and or videos or things that are inspiring you, I want to see your flexibility progress. So please send them my way. Just make sure if you're going to post anything, you just tag Mandy J. Ross on social media so I'll see it. And who knows, you might just end up on one of my stories. All right, if you're still watching this video, I know y'all like it, so please do me the favor of hitting that little thumbs up like button below. Please subscribe to my channel and make sure you hit that little notification bell so you'll be informed every single time I upload new videos. And I have so much planned for y'all, so please, 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 if you're really feeling this vibe of Mandy J. Ross channel, do yourself a favor and be the first to see when new videos come out. And on that high note, thanks so much for joining me for this video. Namaste, and as always, I'm wishing y'all a beautiful day.